episode 52 of the Pins and Needles podcast. My name is Zoe. You can find me everywhere as Pins and Needles UK. Thank you very much for joining me on this super soggy and disgusting Saturday. It's Saturday the 2nd of November and it's like the end of days in Wales today. They called off Park Run on Barry Island this morning because it's yellow weather warnings for wind and rain. So if there's background noise of sort of wooing and sploshing, it's the weather. My apologies about that. Anyway, welcome back to all my previous viewers. How the devil are you? Have you been knitting? Have you been crafting? Let me know what you've been up to. And a special hello to any new viewers. My numbers have ticked up a bit recently, so thank you very much to anyone that has taken a punt on my little podcast. There are so many brilliant podcasts out there. It's always lovely that you choose to spend a little bit of time with me, so thank you for that. If you're interested in checking out the details of things that I talk about, pattern names, yarn, events, anything like that, please check the drop down box underneath. You'll find all of the information there. I do also include timestamps, so if you want to skip around between sections or go back to them later on, I include the times in there as well. And I do have a Ravelry group. We are just Pins and Needles podcast. And every time I record a new episode, I put a new thread in the Ravelry group and I post up the video and the show notes again. So that's another place you can find more information. I wanted to start the episode with a couple of important dates for your diary. So first of all, shameless product placement. I wanted to let you know that tickets for the June 2020 Knit Tea Retreat will go on sale. And I'm going to double check I get this right. If you are subscribed to our newsletter, and there's a link to subscribe to it down below, you can sign up for tickets on Saturday the 9th of November from midday GMT. So I'll send you an email with a link in. You can follow the link to a Google form and get yourself signed up. Also on that form at the bottom is a link to fill in an application form for the marketplace as well. If you only want to sell at the marketplace, check out the website. The form is available via that as well. So Saturday the 9th of November, midday GMT for newsletter subscribers. If we have any spots left over, we'll make those available to the general public the following day. That's Sunday the 10th of November, again at midday. Tickets do go fast, so if you're interested in coming, don't hang about. The dates for the actual retreat are Friday the 12th to Sunday the 14th of June 2020, and we're holding it in the same venue, which was the Alveston Hotel in Stratford upon Avon in the Midlands. We had a fabulous time last year. Some familiar faces, some brand new faces. It was brilliant. If you'd like to find out a bit more about the retreats, you can have a look at the website, knittearetreat.com. And if you go a little bit further back in my channel, I've done a vlog of, well, last October's in Cardiff, last month's. But if you go back a bit further, I did record a vlog of the summer retreat. I think that's just called June 2019 retreat or something. It's obvious, you can't miss it. So go and have a watch of that. And if you'd like to come and join us, subscribe to the newsletter down below and make sure you are ready to hit that button at midday on Saturday the 9th. That was a lot of talking. 1 second. The other date for your diary that I wanted to mention is to do with Cartref Yarn. Again, for any new viewers, my friend Jenny, who is Owl About Yarn, she and I have a couple of businesses together. One of them is the Knit Tea Retreat, and the other is Cartref Yarn, which is our very own 100% pure Welsh exclusive blend of DK yarn. And we launched back in April at Wonderwall Wales in Builth Wells. And then we did our first ever online launch in May, which went really well. And thank you so much to everybody that's bought yarn already. But then because of limited stock, it's only been available at a couple of shows that we've been to. But we now have some more stock that we can put up online. It's all going to go into our Etsy shop. Again, it's linked underneath. And that update is going to go live on Sunday, the 3rd of November. So tomorrow. depending on if I get this out today. Yes, Sunday the 3rd of November at 1 p.m. GMT. Again, stocks are limited because of how this yarn is produced. It is small batch, and once it's gone, it has proper gone. We'll upload everything that we have. I promise we'll put it all up. And we won't have any more available until the new year. We're hoping, fingers crossed, to get our 3rd batch of yarn delivered, end of this year, beginning of next year, and then we need some time to dye it up. So what goes up tomorrow will be all that's available for another good couple of months, so grab some if you want it. I just grabbed a few skeins out of the top of the bag just to wave at you so you can have a look. You can see our lovely label there. That was designed for us by Sam Draws Things on Instagram. And if you're interested in logo or branding, you should absolutely have a word with Sam. So yeah, Cartref Yarn, from farm to yarn in Wales. And this is our dragon colourway. We give all our yarn Welsh names, and this is Draig. We also have a lovely charcoal colour called Glor, which means coal. And this has been very popular indeed. This is one of our top sellers. I mean, you can see it just goes really well. I've also got a skein of Flam here, which means flame. And another one of our best sellers is Forest. And if you're interested in following Cartref, you can find us online as Cartref Yarn on Instagram. And we are cartrefyarn.com. And yeah, it's a super woolly, proper Welsh yarn. Smells pretty good too. And it's DK weight, and it's, just reading out the numbers for you, 100 grams skein gets you 225 yards or 205 metres, and it's approximately 66% Welsh mule and 33% blue-faced Leicester. I know that doesn't quite add up to 100%, but you get 100% wool. My maths is a bit off. So yeah, Cartref Yarn available from Sunday the 3rd through our Etsy shop from 1 p.m. GMT. Get it while it's hot. Now I've got a tickly nose. Right, I'm good. Right then, on to finished objects. I only have one. My knitting time has been very limited. It turns out that organising your own knitting retreat seriously puts the dampeners on your knitting time. When we hold the retreats, we always have a retreat booklet that goes out to all the attendees, and Jenny and I design patterns, sort of exclusive yarn that goes in the gift bags, and a pattern that is at first just available to the attendees, and then we release it into the wild for you guys as well. So it was my turn to design a pattern, and I designed the Party Bunting Socks. So if you watch the videos, or if you've been to see any of the retreats themselves, mostly Jenny and my mum, with a little bit of help from me, we made some really nice fabric bunting that we string up as decoration, and I used that as inspiration for my Party Bunting Socks. So these are now available to buy from my Ravelry designer shop. You can check the link down below. And this is the sample pair that I knitted up, although I can only find one of them. There are two. I promise I finished the whole pair. Jenny custom dyed the yarn for me. So this is undyed fingering weight yarn. It's merino nylon. It's her Cuddly owl base. And then there was the 20 gram mini for the heels and toes and the bunting ribbon. And then again, another custom dye for the bunting. So you need a 20 gram mini for this contrast colour. You need a 5 gram mini, or scraps obviously, for the bunting. And it's a 2x2 rib. And then these, I'm not sure how well it's going to show up. These aren't stripes, these are welts, which is rather fun. So they're quite, maybe I can show you. There you go. You can see they stick out a bit. So they're quite fun to knit. And then it's just some super simple colour work for the bunting triangles themselves. Heel, flap and gusset. So it's a nice mix. You get a bit of fun at the top, and then it just is a nice pleasing vanilla sock knit afterwards. Huge thank you to my test knitters who have helped me out with this. They gave me some really good feedback. At least one of them substituted a different heel. I think she did a Fish Lips Kiss heel. Another one of my testers converted the pattern to toe up, and she said it worked really well if you want to do toe up. So thank you very much to all of them. So yeah, that's my only finished object to share, my party bunting socks. And if any of you are subscribed to my newsletter, I sent you an email with a 10% off code, so go check it and save yourself a bit of money. So those are my party bunting socks. Works in progress is not going to be terribly exciting, I'm afraid. Well, it's kind of combined finished objects / works in progress. One of the things we did at the retreat was have a bring and take table where if you've got any crafting supplies that you don't want anymore, you can bring them along. Everyone gets a raffle ticket, and then you take it in turns to come up and pick something from the table to take away with you. And I picked up a couple of past PomPom magazines, which I didn't bring over with me. But anyway, I picked myself up a ball of King Cole Cottonsoft DK. There's the ball band. And it's in the colourway 715 Mint. And I knitted some dishcloths. I've used some sugar and cream before to knit some, and they're starting to look a bit ropey now, so I thought I'd try a new pattern. And this is the Crazy 8s dishcloth, which is a free pattern on Ravelry by Tarsha. The pattern calls for a worsted weight yarn, and this is DK, so I think mine came out a little smaller than was planned, but it's quite fun to knit because it's knit in short row wedges, which is interesting. So I knit this in the DK yarn on a 3.75mm needle, and you do 8 wedges, cast off, and then seam it up. There's the back, look, you can see my seam. And it's lovely yarn. Cotton can often be quite hard on your hands, but this is beautifully soft. And if you were going to use this as a face cloth rather than a dishcloth, it would be really lovely for that. So I made one as per the pattern, and then I wanted to make it a little bit bigger. So I think whatever the cast on number was for this, I cast on 8 more for that. And I only did 6 wedges for this one. Really easy pattern to memorise. Once you've done 1 wedge, you're off. Yeah, you can see how much bigger it came out. So that'll be nice because I can, fold it up and get a really nice thick squidgy dishcloth. They're not terribly exciting, but it was about all my brain was up to be perfectly honest. And then I did another one. This is the Nubble Rose dishcloth by Aunt Susan. Again, free pattern on Rav. Knitted as per the pattern, so that's the size of that one. It's about the size of my face. And I like this one a bit better actually. A bit more of an interesting knit, although I must admit, she has you can see it's a simple knit to purl to pattern to give you the nubbles. And she had you knit across the right side and do the knit to purl to combination on the wrong side rows, which I thought was a bit nuts because you can see, it's showing up much better on with the studio light, but under normal daylight or normal electric light, the back looks very much the same. It's hard to see the difference between the knit and purls, and obviously it's much easier on the front. So I have started another one because I've got a bit more yarn to use up. It's a 100-gram ball, so it was really generous. Thank you to whoever it was that brought it to the retreat bring and take table. So for the second one, I'm following the pattern, but I've switched out doing the patterning to the right side rather than the wrong side, and then it's just much easier to keep track of. So I'm not quite halfway through this one. And again, 3.75mm double point. These are just my Knit Pro Symphonies. And these are my favourite kind of stitch markers, just a little ring, can you see it? With a bead on. So this is my television knitting at the moment. And what I would like to do is end up with sort of 7 to 10 dishcloths, So at the end of every day, I just chuck that day's dishcloth in the laundry and grab a fresh one for the morning. So I'll probably only get one more full dishcloth out of this ball, but I have got some undyed, unbleached cotton in an Aran weight somewhere, so I can work up some more if I want to, which is just as well because my dishcloth developed a hole in it earlier today, so it's just as well I'm on it with the dishcloths. That is it for works in progress. I have knitted a little bit more on Dave's Christmas sock, but I'm sure you don't need to know about that. It's not finished yet. His feet are enormous. I'll show you when it's done. I haven't touched my Boxy by Johi Locatelli. That's been hibernating in a bag. Yeah, I've been pretty busy. So it's on to acquisitions. I showed you the cotton yarn for the dishcloths. That's something I picked up from the bring and take table at the retreat. And my husband, who loves me very much, and I love him too, bought me a sheep bag. Oh, this is a zippy drawstring sheep bag by Emma of Eldenwood Craft. I'm sure you've seen these online, and they are like gold dust. They are so popular. She has waiting lists, and you have to put your name on a waiting list and then wait your turn. But this is the first time ever at the retreat marketplace that she brought some to sell at a stand. And I was not buying one because, they're just too tempting. And so I was being very good and not buying one and saving my pennies. But my husband snuck up and totally bought one, and I love him very much. So this is a one sheep face bag with a zip. She does do two sheep's faces as well as one sheep's faces, and they do also come in a drawstring. A nice brown canvas other side, and it's a box bottom, and it's a really nice chunky metal zip with a leather tag on it. I haven't used it, I've been saving it so that I could show you it all nice and tidy. And then on the inside you can see you've got like a little D ring, and it's got two really nice big spacious pockets in. And I reckon this is just about jumper size because it's really nice and tall. But you could definitely get a 2 or a 3 skein fingering skein project in there. So yes, I'm looking forward to being able to use that now. So thank you, Emma, for making the bags and bringing them and coming to the retreat. And thank you, Dave, for making me super happy. So sheep face bag. A couple of people bought me gifts, which is very unnecessary, but very lovely indeed. And the first one I received was from Catrin. Hi, Catrin. And I was super busy doing a million things, and she sort of snuck up and handed me this little stripy bag. And I just said, thank you very much, and put it in a pocket, not realising it was a present. I thought it was something I dropped, or so, I don't know what I thought it was. But anyway, it turns out it's some very beautiful ceramic ornaments. 2 little hearts. And it looks to me like the print on the red heart, it kind of looks a bit like knitted fabric. So that's really lovely. So thank you, Catrin. I'm going to keep that and put that on my Christmas tree because it's after Halloween now, so we're allowed to talk about Christmas. So that was very sweet. And special shout out to Jayne. Hello, Jayne, who seems to be continuing the tea towel theme. And first of all, look, Jayne is based down in London, and I don't know if she went to Buckingham Palace just to visit it. Maybe she knows the Queen, maybe she just went and had a tour, but she bought me the fanciest tea towel ever. Look at that, Buckingham Palace, and it's that really nice waffle texture. So I'm going to chuck this in the washing machine so it starts softening up, and then I will feel really, really posh. And it says the income from your purchase contributes directly to the Royal Collection Trust, which is a registered charity. And look, it's got a gold lion on a crown label. So that made me laugh. Thank you, Jayne. But she didn't just give me one tea towel. Oh no. If any of you follow me on Instagram, you will know that I am, when it comes to the whole Brexit debacle that's going on in the UK at the moment, I am firmly on the side of Remain. Even though we're definitely going to be leaving eventually at some point, maybe, who knows. I'm a Remainer, and I went on a sort of a protest march in Cardiff with Jenny. When was that? September? Probably. So the other tea towel that Jayne bought me is this. And it's a quote from John Donne. And it says, "No man is an island entire of itself. Every man is a piece of the continent, a part of the main. If a clod be washed away by the sea, Europe is the less." So that's my protest tea towel, which I absolutely love. And John Donne totally nailed it. So I'm going to chuck that in the machine as well, and then I can have a protest tea towel whilst washing my dishes and doing my little bit to try and remain connected to our European chums. Another lovely gift I was given was this beautiful skein of yarn. Caroline, who is at Kralaline on Instagram, is the dyer and all-round marvellous person behind Colourful Creativity by Kralaline. And this is the unofficial Knit Tea Retreat colourway. Caroline came to the 1st and 2nd October retreats, and she dyed exclusive retreat colourways both times. The first year, I can't remember the name. What was the name of it, Caroline? I've got 2 skeins of it. I can't remember. But this year's was Pink G&T. But this is No Rainbows Without Rain. And basically everyone at the retreat went nuts for it. It is just the most gorgeous, gorgeous colourway. So it's a sort of a mid-grey main colour with these flashes of rainbow added. And this is on her colourful sock base, which is a 75-25 wool nylon blend. 100 grams gets you 420 metres. And can you see that little stitch marker there? That is a glow-in-the-dark sheep. I'm assuming it's one of those, what do you call those printers that prints plastic and twirls it up? 3D printers, is that it? And that's a little glow-in-the-dark sheep. So he's called Colin. I don't know if you know, but fairly recently, the famous merino sheep that ran wild for 10 years and had an unbelievably huge amount of fleece on him. Do you remember seeing the news about that when they finally caught him? He was called Chris. And he recently passed away. Rest in peace, Chris. So in his memory, I have dubbed my little glow-in-the-dark sheep Chris, and he sits on my bedside table. So when I go to bed at night and things start buzzing around your head, I can count sheep. And Caroline also gave me a download code for her sock pattern, which makes the most of this beautiful colourway of yarn. And it's called Rainbow Bridges. And that's available on Ravelry. Oh, is it? You can. Oh, yes, you can find my designs on Ravelry. And if you're interested in Caroline's yarn, and you should be because it's lush, you can find her at colourfulcreativity.nl. Thank you, Caroline. And then last but not least, I went home a couple of weekends ago, maybe a month ago, to visit my brother and his wife and their brand new baby, Jamie. And I had a quick word with my dad, and I usually knit him Christmas socks, and I asked him what sort of socks he would like. And unfortunately for me, he wanted a pair of grey socks. My dad knows an awful lot about cars. He's a huge motoring enthusiast. He's retired now, but he volunteers at the Motor Museum in Coventry in the Midlands, and they have a uniform, and he has to wear smart trousers. So although I've knit him lots of pairs of socks and he loves them and he wears them, I think he wanted a slightly more uniform, smart pair. So I ordered 100 grams of Regia plain grey sock yarn. It really isn't the most exciting. It's colourway 00522. And I'm just going to find some sort of textured sock pattern so that at least they'll be interesting to knit, even if they're not that interesting to look at. I think I've got 1 or 2 in my queue. I'll have to go through and have a look. So yeah, there we go. That's the last of my acquisitions. I think the last thing to do is just have a bit of a chatty update. I don't think this is going to be a terribly long episode. As I said, I really haven't had much time for crafting. I've been really, really busy at work. My husband and I own and run a gym in Cardiff, and as well as 3 children and the Cartref Yarn and the retreat, I run a gym and I'm a personal trainer on top, and I've had some new clients sign up, so I've been quite busy writing programs. And my members of staff have had some time off, so I've been working extra shifts. Plus this week that's ending now has been half-term holiday for the kids, so I've had them at home, and Conrad had a party with a few friends coming over, which ended in rather more vomiting than I was expecting. So yeah, just really, really busy. Jenny and I, obviously with planning the release of the next lot of retreat tickets, Jenny and I have been video conference calling and spreadsheeting and marketing planning and all sorts of things like that. But once the tickets go live, that should settle down a little bit. Yeah, and releasing sock patterns is more work than you think. Uploading it to Ravelry and Instagram and all sorts of things. So I've been really busy, and I've got more shifts than usual coming up in November. But I sort of don't mind that too much, because working weekend shifts, it's usually fairly quiet. So I'm hoping that I can get on with some computer work at the same time. Well, that is all that I have for you this week. I'm sorry it's a bit of a shorter episode. Hopefully I'll get a bit more crafting time. I really want to dig out my shawl. I feel the need to knit something lacy, and I have a shawl that I've been ignoring for about 6 months now because I mucked it up. So I need to try and dig that out and figure out my mistake and get it back in rotation. But yes, do remember, sign yourself up down below for the newsletter for the retreat, and the tickets go live on Saturday the 9th of November, midday GMT for newsletter subscribers, and then Sunday the 10th at midday GMT for the rest of you. And the Cartref Yarn update goes live on our Etsy shop tomorrow, which is Sunday the 3rd at 1 PM GMT. So again, check down below for all the links. Head over to Ravelry if you would like to buy a copy of my party bunting socks pattern. And fingers crossed, I will see you in another couple of weeks. Bye.